All right, so this is a debrief for my morning session on the last day of the conference. This was 7 a.m. on November 27th, today. I'm recording this, and it was selling advisory services delivered by a man named Josh Lance. If you've been following along with this playlist, which you should also subscribe to the channel, but I mentioned him as someone who, I wanted to do an action item for. I wanted to go see. It was yesterday's morning session with Gusto, and they used him as an example of how he's selling people advisory services. And I said, go stalk his website and see how he's talking about that. So this is the same guy, although he didn't talk about the people advisory stuff in particular. He was just talking about advisory services in general. My key idea that I took away from this is that you cannot do this if you are not confident. And so I think that's if the more you believe in yourself and that what you have, that you know what you're doing, you know how to do these advanced services, you know the much more technical financial analysis, then the easier this is going to be. It's going to be really hard to do it if you don't have a solid grasp of accounting and finance. And so for those of you who are listening who are just starting out, this is an even longer journey of much study of accounting and finance to be able to do a lot of this. Although there's some softer stuff that you can do, but even technology advising or HR advising, to get paid for this, you have to be confident, you have to be really knowledgeable. So this isn't to me, it does not seem like low-hanging fruit. It's going to require building up to. Top 3 things I learned. So he said that selling for compliance services are client-led, but selling for advisory services is advisor-led. And I thought that was a really great way to frame this. So often the client doesn't even know what they need, and so you need to be thinking about this is probably going to be happening, or at least at first, with you talking to your clients about what you can offer, then your clients coming to you and asking for it. Like those ones that are client-led, or they show up and they're like, I need bookkeeping, or I need my taxes done, and that's them leading. But this is advisor-led. Selling advisory services is advisor-led. 2, the second thing is, so he's saying it can be frustrated when advisory services falls on the shoulders of the owner alone. And so this is something to keep in mind if you have plans to grow with a team. He didn't really discuss how to solve this problem, but he just mentioned that it's a point of frustration for people who are like, yes, it's time to get into advisory, but if none of your staff can do it, then it's only on you. And so be having a long-term view with that. Number 3, he mentioned a book called Win Without Pitching Manifesto by a man named Blair Enns, and he put a quote up there that said, "You are the prize to be won." And then he also talked about this list. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Someone was walking by. He put this quote up there saying, "You are the prize to be won," which is from that book, and then also a list of something that this author calls the Jedi mindset. It's very convincing and convicting, and but what I want to say is, it's in a nutshell, it's like, don't put the client in the leadership position. Don't put the client in the driver's seat, and be thinking that you are the prize to be won. So the one action item I'm going to implement is I want to buy and read Win Without Pitching Manifesto. Marketing is very unnatural for me, so I want to get better at it. And then I'm going to write the phrase, "I am the prize to be won," and maybe read it to myself before consults. And then I'm also going to tell my husband I'm doing this and let him know that he has to make sure I don't become a terrible person by repeating this too much, because I could see that ending badly. But it sounds like a really great phrase to hype yourself up before a client consult at the very least. But just don't become a terrible person by saying it too much. But we are prizes. We do have stuff to value. I'm saying that in jest, but I think there's a balance there between not becoming having too high of a view of yourself. So it was a good session. I'm glad I went, and yeah, this guy Josh Lance keeps popping up, so I feel like he's someone to follow.